everybody. Jamie Austin, and welcome back to Real Estate of Mind, where hopefully we're bringing you some valuable information about the real estate market, and that can be a very varied group of discussions that we have. And today we have a very special guest on the show. We have Adrienne Mascaro. And Adrienne Mascaro is the owner, founder, and CEO of Studio Blue Interior Design. So welcome to the show, Adrienne. Thank you so much for coming on board with us.
Thank you, Jamie. I
Yay.
appreciate you asking me.
Yeah. No, my pleasure. So I'd like to just jump right in because not only are you an interior designer, but we decided that we would focus today's show on kind of a particular niche that you have, which is you do luxury relocation services, which I'm not even sure a lot of people know that that service exists. When you think of relocation, like most people are like, oh my God, I've got a new job. I'm going into a new city. There's a real estate agent involved and they come and they help you find a house. But then basically then you're kind of left moving your things from where you are currently living into a brand new city. And then kind of they leave that stuff up to you. That's not really part of normally the services. So this is where you come in and you provide that extra white glove service where not only can they find a brand new location to live in, meaning their home, but then you come in and do everything from soup to nuts, like dishes in this, dishes in the drawers to artwork on the walls, furnishings, design, everything. Is that correct?
That is absolutely what we do. Yes.
I love that. So basically, my first question for you is like, you really don't just help people move, like you really help people start new chapters in their lives.
Absolutely.
So what do you think that during relocation that most people underestimate?
It's a great question. And it's funny because I just signed a contract with a couple this week and I'm flying to Seattle with Kristen, who is my partner with this. She's more my assistant partner with this on Thursday. And so what we're doing is we're flying there to Seattle. We're doing an inventory for them. We've already been in contact with their movers and they're going to fly, they're going to move from Seattle to Reno. So right now they're putting their house on the market in Seattle and they're getting that staged and they're looking for places in Reno. So they may not have a real estate agent in Reno. So we hook them up with people who can do it. Or if they're moving to Los Angeles, we help in that capacity too. So we're full service concierge. We do everything for them. They worry about nothing. And it is a really amazing service where they don't have any stress. We're the one point of contact where there might be 7 or 8 people all involved, pieces of the puzzle, dealing with all of A, B's, and C's, and we manage everything for them.
Now, was this a job, or do you find that it comes mostly from people like stemming from getting new jobs that they're relocating to different cities? Or can it just is anything and everything? It can be anything.
Yeah, it could be. It could be a sports figure, moving, got transferred from one team to the other, and they just need it all done. It could be an executive has to move to a new city because of work. It could be retirement. So a lot of seniors, it's huge in the senior market where they just don't want to manage and think about anything. And so we do all of that for them. So
what is it? Moving, divorce, having a baby, having a child, and and a new job are the biggest stressors of life. And like your service kind of takes care of 2 of them if they're moving, have a new job. I suppose it could be a divorce or a marriage or something or a changing, but even retirement is amazing. So taking 2 to 3 stressors right off the bat is amazing.
Yes. So what we do is, and it's very personal. We're not movers. We're not a moving company. And we handle the logistics of it, but it's a very personalized, service that we provide. So we will go there. We talk about, we use a Marie Kondo method. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Marie Kondo.
If you love it, if you touch it and you love it, keep it. If not,
it brings you joy. Yeah. So if it brings you joy, then we're keeping it.
Yeah.
So we go around and we do that. So I'm a little woo-woo. I'm fine with admitting that. And we'll go around and we'll talk about each item. And then we do a full inventory, which is incredible. And then we talk about how you want to live in your new home. So if they have their home, we'll fly there. We measure the space. And with all of the items that they have, we implement those on AutoCAD, and then I as a designer come up with the new designs with their existing items.
Oh, I love that.
So,
So,
yeah.
how important do you think it is for people to feel emotionally settled before they get ready to start the new chapter in their lives in a brand new city?
Yeah. So you as a real estate agent understand that this is a key important point that they actually brought up to me. They confirmed this with me, and I'm sure you hear this a lot, is if the client doesn't absolutely love the home, they don't
Hmm.
want to live in it. So when they really love the home, and this married couple, which it was funny, we said, that's why you're still married, is that he said, if my wife loves the home, and I don't like it, or no, he said, if I love the home and my wife doesn't like it, he goes, enough said, we're not going to buy it.
Yep.
And
Happy
that's why we
wife,
said,
happy
so that's why
life.
you're still married. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Still rings true, right? Yep.
So we go about that as well. We say, okay, bring in the items that you truly love and enjoy,
Hmm.
and that spark that within you.
Hmm.
I ask them, how do you want to feel in your new space?
Great. Because
And
those are
then
all
we
kind
go,
of esoteric things, but that are really the essence of what make something feel the difference between a house and an actual home. Two, I mean, two very different things. I think like I don't ever want to walk into a home, even if it's like gorgeous and has designer fixes all the way around, but you don't feel like you could take your shoes off and get comfortable and snuggle up and read a book. That would not be a home that would work for me, but that might be a home that works for somebody. But it's interesting that you ask those kind of questions. That's great.
yeah, it's really about connection.
Mm-hmm. For
So
sure.
if they're connected to their pieces of art, which they've purchased because they have history, they have meaning. So we're creating a space with that same intention. So the rooms that we design with their new home, we say this is the perfect piece for that, and we get everything signed off on before we even do the move. So they'll see what the new place will look like with all of their items, us designing it that way,
Yeah,
and
I
then
love it.
it is truly turnkey ready. So we will meet the team, we meet the movers, with the organizers. I manage the art installers, the wine. Sometimes there's the wine movers. We get
Yeah,
specific movers for those teams, and
absolutely.
so we handle all of it. And then they open up. They said, well, we want to go on vacation. I said, no problem. They go on vacation. They don't want to hear what's going on. They open up the door,
The
and their
door.
new home
Boom.
is exactly the way they want it, and everything's organized.
Oh, I
So
love
all
that.
of the dishes are perfect, all the linens are all perfect. I mean, everything is just, their suits are all aligned
I love
perfectly.
so kind of going down that kind of rabbit hole just a little bit. What is the wildest or most like impressive thing that you've ever had to coordinate for for a luxury relocation?
Well, they all have their nuances, they all
Yeah,
have
for
their little
sure.
tweaks. And so when people will ask, like, how much does this service cost, it really depends on, are we going internationally, are we going cross country, are we going city to city, even Hermosa to Manhattan Beach, which I've done, only 2 miles from each other. They have their quirks,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
every project and every personality, every homeowner has its own uniqueness to it.
Right.
So,
Has anybody like ever asked you to, I don't know, like have you ever seen something you're like, that's an interesting piece that I don't know that I'd be moving, but like somebody like, I don't know, like I walked into a house as a real estate agent one time. This was years ago. This was actually a celebrity, Cloris Leachman, God rest her soul. But she had stuffed one of her cats, like one of her real cats. She didn't, so she taxidermied one of her cats. And I was like, oh my, I mean, it was just kind of one of those things. You walked in, she didn't hide it. It was out. It was actually on a settee at the end of her bed. And I was like, well, all right, then. That's, you know,
mhm.
you never know what somebody's going to want to hang
You
on
never
to,
know.
right?
After 25 years of being in this business, I've seen a lot.
I bet. I
I've
bet.
worked with a lot of celebrities myself. I've had to
Yep. Of
sign a lot of non-disclosures.
course. Of course.
I can share some things.
Yes.
I can't share others. Um, I I I also do ask before we go, is it okay to open up this closet? Or is it okay to
Oh,
open up
yeah.
this drawer?
Yeah.
I had to find that out the hard way when I
Oh,
was
boy.
first starting out.
Uh-huh.
This was about 25, 30 years ago, where I just was chatting along and then just open up a drawer. I always ask. So,
Yeah.
so you always ask. So there's no surprises.
Right,
Um,
right.
and so that I'll leave it there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll leave it there. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But the one thing I think, because just kind of like you said, especially like even with NDAs and celebrity, or it doesn't really matter. You are really helping people at a really vulnerable time in their lives, right? Moving, I don't care how efficient you are, how organized you are, it is still a vulnerable time in your life. How do you think that over the years, how do you think that you've been able to build that trust with people so quickly? Because it's not like you got a lot of time to hang out with them. Like you're flying up maybe for a couple of days, and yes, you communicate by email, show them CAD drawings and whatever. But what do you think is your unique proposition in that you're able to build trust so quickly?
That's a really good question. Oh, well, I think that perhaps gosh, I haven't thought about this. I think that perhaps why they may trust me is because I'm very vulnerable and I'm very transparent. So, yeah,
Maybe
and I just
you,
give them examples of other projects that I've worked on. And so they might be saying, well, can I see this or can I see that? No problem. Can I speak with this homeowner? That absolutely. So I think the trust is built over time.
absolutely.
And I think that the more we get into the project, the ease settles in
Hmm.
with the client. And when they see that I'm on it and they see my emails and they see that how we're handling things, I think that it just becomes easier.
Yeah.
I
And
do know, I do know though, to be honest, not every person is our client,
sure.
you
I
know?
say the same thing about real
Yeah.
estate. Like I'm not, I would say honestly, the majority of my clients, once they're my clients, they're clients for life, which
Hmm.
is something about, but I've actually literally had to fire clients because I'm like, if you don't understand that I'm working as your advocate on your behalf, as your fiduciary, if I'm having to really at every turn fight you on that, it's just not worth it.
It's
And
not
like, I'm
worth
like,
it.
there is another agent for you, no problem. But I've been doing this 23 years and I'm like, I'm not going to beg somebody to get my value or my worth, you know? But I will say one thing that I have learned over the years to get better at, which sounds like something that you've done, is that when you really start to learn how to authentically connect with people and build a bridge very quickly, that is a skill set. Because a lot of people, they're worried about maybe looking ridiculous or, oh, I don't want them to judge me about this part. And I think if you can just cut right through and appease people's fears that you're not there to judge, you're not there to like, you're there to really be helpful and actually present a sense of curiosity about them, that the walls come down and they really see that you're in their corner from the get-go. And
It's
what better way to do that than by going through their personal items in their house. And I don't know about most people, but like I've bought artwork from travels around the world and there's a story associated with everything. And again, that whole idea, does that spark joy when you touch it, is really true. Because I've moved around and I love the purging process because I'm like, oh, I accumulated this and have had this, and it doesn't bring the same joy that it did years ago or whatever. And so I think that's a great bridge to communicate with people. And I think once they share that vulnerability, I think that's how you probably
it's
have succeeded and excelled very well.
Thank you. I think that also brings in the difference between me as an interior designer and other interior designers.
Mm.
So, and why that is because my background with interior design, and I'm educated with an architecture background, is not the is coming from a place where I see the person as a character. I was a theater major first, and then I went into
Ah,
film and TV,
I can relate.
and
Me too.
you too. So
Yeah.
we understand the character. We
Yeah.
get into the nuance of what their motivations are, what their feelings are, how
Mhm.
they present themselves, how they respond. And so when you're creating a set and you're creating for that
Mhm.
character. It's not about Adrienne's design. It's
Right.
about what that person would be doing or how that would look.
Right.
And I approach that with my clients as well. And then that translates really well into moving because I take me out. I It's easy for me to take me out of it. So when the person is moving, I don't judge their sofa or their taste on their art. I know that it's about them. It's not about Adrienne. So that's why I think that my interior design skills have translated my interior design background of creating for the person instead of creating for Adrienne's aesthetic works really well in this dynamic because it's all about them
Yeah.
and
And
how do I make their items work.
that's not the case with a lot of interior designers. They
No.
want their individual stamp on every home or place or space that they
Yeah.
design.
Yeah.
That's and that kind of brings me to the last question that I've got, which is, and this would be something that you could speak to. What would you say with wealthy clients was maybe what are you feeling like maybe they prioritized 5 years ago that they aren't prioritizing or that their priorities have shifted? So what would you say? Are they not prioritizing as much anymore? And what are they more if I can say that, prioritizing today? What would you say would be a major shift that maybe you've noticed with wealthy
So
clients?
yeah, so with a very specific luxury service,
Mm-hmm.
which interior design is,
Yep.
and it's broken itself down through the years of not being so luxury. You can get things on the internet and yada yada and have someone help me. It's a different service. What we provide with luxury clients, they have certain needs.
Mm-hmm.
And their needs are I don't want to hear about how it's made, just make it sure that it happens at this
Yep.
time, this time, this time. We're
Right.
really good with that. The one thing that I have noticed when I work with very busy, very wealthy people, especially celebrities, and again, not every person. I don't care if you're very wealthy and you're a celebrity. I really don't. What
Right.
I care about is can I communicate with you,
Right.
and are you authentic, and are you
Mm-hmm.
vulnerable to tell me
Mm-hmm.
what your needs are? Because I'm not a mind reader, and so if they can't communicate with me on really what their essence is of what their home needs to be and look like and feel like and be a part of them, and they don't have the time to or the trust to go there, then they're not my client. It's not about money for me. It is really about the joy for me to be in this of service and to really be connecting with my clients and really create what they want. That's it for me. And
That's the cat's
so
meow.
it really is. And so, and I noticed that those clients who allow the trust, because they have to trust you,
Yeah,
allow
for sure.
that, it's a beautiful experience. But the ones
That's
who are very controlling, who don't let you do your job, who are coming from a place of fear constantly,
just like
the outcome isn't good. And I don't think the outcome's good for anybody that they hire.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
It,
that makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
That makes a lot of
So
sense.
that's been my
Well,
experience.
then we're wrapping up with the last two questions that I love to ask every guest that's on the show. Just because it stems a little bit away from just the business side of things and gets more about the underbelly as to who the guest really is.
Oh,
So, the first question, which I love to ask, is what is a house, room, or space that you've been in that once you were in changed the direction of your life forever?
oh my goodness. That's like asking what's your favorite food. So
It's interesting.
I can't give you an answer to that. I can tell you what my inspiration was of why I became a designer and when that
Okay.
was. So, which I think kind of still translates to what
Okay.
you're asking. I would say when I was in kindergarten, there were these red cardboard boxes, right?
Okay.
And there were the little boys that were playing with the red building blocks
Mm-hmm.
and building forts and stuff. And then there was the
Mm-hmm.
kitchen and the little house with the girls in one area.
Right.
And I wanted to play with those building blocks.
Yeah.
And so I asked my kindergarten
Teacher.
teacher. I said, "Can I go over there?" And she goes, "Oh no, no. The girls go in the kitchen and
Oh my
play with
goodness.
dolls in the house. Only the boys are allowed there." And I knew at 5 years old, that's wrong.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just knew innately. I was like, no. And
My
so
teachers. Woof.
yeah, hello 1972. So no, it was just really, really wrong. And so I knew, well, I'm going to be in there and I'm going to be building and
I
I'm going to
love
be
that.
creating. And
Yeah, that that
I
counts.
don't care if it's all men.
A
So
kindergarten space is a space, and if it
yeah,
changed the
it's a space.
trajectory of your life, that counts as the
There
question
we
for
go.
sure.
So
Yeah, and I remembered I was very much a tomboy, so I was very tall. I was taller than all the boys forever, forever and ever, but I was very much tomboy. So climbing trees, and they were like, "Get down! You got a skirt on," and I'm like, "Well, then give me shorts underneath my skirt because I'd rather be climbing a tree." So anyway, I can totally relate to that. The last question is, which I love to ask, is are you in your forever home? And if you are, great. Tell me why and how you know it was. But if not, maybe the better question is what is still left? What chapter are you still building in your life?
well, I'm a single mother since pregnancy
Okay.
and a business owner for before pregnancy.
Love that.
So I've been managing motherhood and my business for many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that the market in Los Angeles is quite
Oh,
expensive.
very expensive.
So I am not in my forever home.
Okay.
I am still building towards that. But I don't know if it's really that important to me. I think what's really important is that even your temporary space is
Mm-hmm.
created as it is your forever home. Like
I love that.
create those items, bring those items into your home that is no matter how temporary you are, that it is all about your authenticity.
I love
So
that.
that's where I'm at.
That's really true because some people, it's like homeownership seems like a dream, but it doesn't mean that wherever your current space is, doesn't mean that you can't make it as homey and as safe and as wonderful as it would be, quote, a home that you own or whatever that's not transitory, right? I mean, I've done that everywhere I've lived in a place. Like everybody's like, you've always had your mark, even if the furniture's been different, the stuff has been different. But I think the best compliment is when somebody can walk into your home and say, oh, this place feels good, and it
And
feels
it could be a
welcoming.
rental.
Yeah,
And it
that's
could be a
always
rental.
what I,
It doesn't
yeah,
necessarily need to
that's
be
exactly
a
right.
purchase. So
Yep,
I think
that's
that was
exactly
my
right.
point is that I would love that. I would love
Yeah.
to buy something, but it's
Well,
right
you're
now
still building your
I'm
chapter
still
and
building
whatever
towards
that, and that chapter may be built and you may end up deciding that that's not part of
it.
that's not the next chapter. Who knows? Maybe it's then to keep doing what you're doing and then you might decide you want to live out of the country or move to the country or something. I mean, who knows? I love that part because homes are just usually really emotional attachments to people. Home is like wherever you lay your head, right? So that could be an apartment building or whatever. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter. It's whatever you create your own space. So
Mhm.
thank you so much, Adrienne, for taking the
Thank
time
you.
to come on the show. I loved having
Thank
you.
you. I really
So tell
appreciate
people
it.
how they can get in touch with you very quickly. Like, what's the best way to reach you
Thank
if
you.
they wanted
Yes,
to?
you can reach us at our email.
Okay.
And that is, you could reach me personally at my personal email, which is amascaro, Mascaro at studiobluinc.com. And our website is studioblueinc.com.
I love it. We'll
So
see
thank
you.
you.
And thank
Thank
you
you.
so much for everybody for joining the Real Estate of Mind podcast today. If there is a topic that you are dying to have some information about and we haven't done it or covered it yet, let us know, DM us, and I will go and make sure we try to find you a guest that will answer your burning questions. Thanks so much for joining Real Estate of Mind. Until next time, thanks so much. Take care.